Your Honor, I trusted her. Those 5 words from 68-year-old veteran Robert Chen silenced Judge Caprio's entire courtroom. Robert had been homeless for 2 years, living in his car, surviving on veterans' benefits and odd jobs. When Madison Foster appeared at his veterans' shelter with promises of help through her Christmas charity, Robert didn't just donate his last $50, he became her biggest advocate. He convinced other struggling veterans to give. He handed out flyers. He believed. But Madison Foster had lied about everything. The $47,000 she collected never went to veterans. And when investigators dug deeper, they found she'd done this exact scam in 2 other states. Judge Caprio was about to make sure Robert's trust wasn't broken in vain. Subscribe if stories like this matter to you, and comment your location below. It was a cold February morning in Providence, Rhode Island. Judge Frank Caprio sat at his bench, reviewing the case file in front of him. This wasn't a typical traffic case. This wasn't about a parking ticket or a fender bender. This was about trust, about dignity, about a man who'd served his country and been betrayed by someone who should have helped him. Robert Chen sat quietly at the plaintiff's table. His hands were folded. His posture was straight. Even after everything he'd been through, he carried himself with the dignity of a man who'd served with honor. Across from him sat Madison Foster. 32 years old, designer clothes, expensive jewelry. Her lawyer whispered something to her, and she nodded, appearing calm and composed. But Judge Caprio had seen this before. He'd been on the bench for over 30 years. He knew when someone was hiding something. Good morning. We're here today regarding case number 2024-CV1847. Mr. Robert Chen versus Ms. Madison Foster. This is a civil case involving allegations of fraud and theft related to charitable donations. Mr. Chen, you're representing yourself today, is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. I couldn't afford a lawyer. That's perfectly fine. I'm here to make sure you get a fair hearing. Now, can you tell me in your own words what happened? Your Honor, 2 years ago I lost my apartment. I'd been working construction, but I got injured on the job. My back gave out. I couldn't work anymore. The bills piled up and I lost everything. I've been living in my car ever since, a 1998 Honda Civic. I parked behind the Veterans Shelter on Broad Street. They let me use the facilities, get a hot meal a few times a week. Mr. Chen, I see from your file that you served in Vietnam. Is that correct? Yes, sir. United States Army, 1972 to 1975. I was just a kid, 19 when I enlisted. Thank you for your service, Mr. Chen. Thank you, Your Honor. That means a lot. Judge Caprio leaned forward. He'd heard thousands of cases, but stories like Robert's always affected him deeply. This was a man who'd served his country, worked hard his entire life, and ended up with nothing through no fault of his own. Please continue. Tell me about Miss Foster. Last November, right before Thanksgiving, this woman came to the shelter. Miss Foster. She had flyers, a website, everything looked professional. She said she was starting a charity called the Christmas Miracle Fund, specifically to help homeless veterans. She said she wanted to give us hope, help us get back on our feet, provide warm clothes, help with rent deposits, job placement services. She showed us pictures of other veterans she'd supposedly helped. And you believed her? Yes, sir, completely. She seemed so sincere. She shook my hand. She looked me in the eye. She called us heroes. Nobody had called me a hero in a long time, Your Honor. The courtroom was completely silent. Even the court reporter had paused, moved by Robert's words. Judge Caprio looked at Madison Foster. Her expression hadn't changed. She sat perfectly still, her lawyer occasionally whispering to her. Mr. Chen, did you donate to this charity? I did, Your Honor. I gave $50. It was everything I had left after buying my medications that month. But I wanted to help. Miss Foster said every donation would be matched by local businesses. She said my $50 would become $100. And did you encourage others to donate? I did, and I feel terrible about it now. There are about 20 of us who regularly stay around the shelter. Good men, Vietnam vets, Gulf War vets, even a couple from Afghanistan. We look out for each other. When Miss Foster explained her program, I believed in it so much that I convinced my friends to donate too. How much did your group donate in total? About $800, Your Honor. Some guys gave $20, some gave $50. One man, Tommy Rodriguez, gave $150. That was his entire disability check for the month. Judge Caprio wrote something down. His jaw was tight. And what happened after you donated? Nothing. At first, Miss Foster said the money was being processed. Then she said there were delays with the matching funds. Then she stopped answering her phone. Her website went down. She disappeared. I saw her 3 weeks later, Your Honor. I was standing outside the grocery store where I sometimes collect bottles for the deposit. She drove past in a brand new car. She saw me. She looked right at me, and she drove away. Miss Foster, is this true? Your Honor, my client denies these allegations. The Christmas Miracle Fund was a legitimate charitable organization. Unfortunately, due to administrative issues and overhead costs, the program couldn't move forward as planned. My client returned all donations that were requested through proper channels. Mr. Chen, did you request a refund through proper channels? Your Honor, there were no proper channels. The phone number went to voicemail. The website disappeared. I tried finding her office address. It was a UPS store mailbox. This is when Judge Caprio did what he does best. He'd spent the previous week reviewing not just this case, but doing his own investigation. Miss Foster, I have some questions for you directly. Yes, Your Honor. According to the records I've obtained, your Christmas Miracle Fund collected $47,000 in donations over a 6-week period. Is that accurate? Approximately, yes. And how much of that money went directly to helping homeless veterans? Your Honor, as my attorney explained, there were administrative costs. How much, Miss Foster? Give me a number. I don't have the exact figure. I do. $0. Not 1 cent went to helping veterans. I've reviewed your bank records, Miss Foster. The court ordered them as part of discovery. In December, you purchased a vehicle for $28,000. You paid off $12,000 in personal credit card debt. You took a vacation to Aruba that cost $4,500. You spent donation money on yourself, money that was given by people who have nothing, people who trusted you. Your Honor, I can explain. I'm not finished. What troubles me even more is what I found when I contacted authorities in Connecticut and Massachusetts. In 2021, you ran a similar charity in Hartford called Veterans First Fund. You collected $23,000 and disappeared. In 2022, you did it again in Springfield. Hope for Heroes Foundation, another $31,000. Miss Foster, you're a professional con artist who preys on the most vulnerable people in our society. You've made a career out of exploiting people's generosity and veterans' suffering. Your Honor, those cases were never prosecuted because you moved before anyone could catch you, because the victims were homeless and didn't have resources to pursue you, because you counted on good people like Mr. Chen being too broken down to fight back. Well, Mr. Chen found his way to my courtroom, and in my courtroom, we protect people who can't protect themselves. Judge Caprio turned back to Robert. His expression softened. Mr. Chen, I want you to know something. What happened to you was not your fault. Trusting people is not a weakness. Believing in goodness is not foolish. You did nothing wrong. Thank you, Your Honor, but it's not just about the money. It's about feeling stupid. Feeling like I should have known better. You're not stupid. You're a good man who tried to help his friends. That takes courage. I just wanted to believe things could get better, Your Honor, for all of us. We're not bad people. We're just down on our luck. And when someone says they want to help, you want to believe them. I served my country. I worked hard my whole life. I raised 2 kids. I was a good father, a good husband. My wife passed 6 years ago. Cancer, the medical bills, that's what started everything falling apart. And now I'm 68 years old, sleeping in my car, and I can't even trust someone who says they want to help. There wasn't a dry eye in the courtroom. Even the bailiff, a retired veteran himself, wiped his face. Judge Caprio removed his glasses and set them on the bench. Mr. Chen, look at me. You can trust again, because I'm going to help you, and I'm going to make sure Miss Foster never does this to anyone else." Judge Caprio opened the folder containing his decision. He'd spent hours preparing for this moment. This court finds in favor of the plaintiff, Mr. Robert Chen. Miss Foster, you are ordered to pay full restitution of $47,000 to be distributed among all victims of your fraudulent charity scheme. Additionally, you are ordered to pay $25,000 in punitive damages specifically to Mr. Chen for the emotional distress you've caused. You exploited his trust, his poverty, and his service to this nation. Your Honor, I don't have that kind of money. Then you'll get a job, a real job. You'll make payments, and if you don't, I'm forwarding this entire case file to the Rhode Island Attorney General's office with a recommendation for criminal prosecution. I'm also contacting authorities in Connecticut and Massachusetts. You may have avoided prosecution before, but you won't this time. What you've done is not just fraud, it's morally reprehensible. But Judge Caprio wasn't finished. Mr. Rep. Chen, I've made some arrangements. I contacted the Providence Veterans Affairs Office. They've identified emergency housing for you. It's not permanent, but it's a clean, safe room while we work on finding you something more stable. Your Honor, I don't know what to say. Don't say anything yet. I'm not done. I also contacted the Rhode Island Community Food Bank and several local veterans organizations. They've put together a support package for you and the other veterans who were affected: food, clothing, and access to job placement services. Your Honor, Mr. Chen, you served this country with honor. You deserve to be treated with dignity. What Miss Foster did was wrong, but there are good people in this world, people who want to help without asking for anything in return. On behalf of the City of Providence, on behalf of everyone who values service and sacrifice, thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your courage in coming forward. And thank you for reminding us why we have to protect our veterans. The courtroom erupted in applause. Robert Chen stood, tears flowing freely, and saluted Judge Caprio. Judge Caprio, moved beyond words, returned the salute. 6 months after that powerful courtroom moment, we followed up with Robert Chen. Robert found permanent housing through a Veterans Assistance Program. He has his own apartment now. Nothing fancy, but it's his. The $25,000 in punitive damages allowed him to get back on his feet. He bought a reliable used car, updated his work clothes, and even started volunteering at the same shelter that once helped him. Judge Caprio didn't just give me money or a place to stay. He gave me back my dignity. He reminded me that I matter, that we all matter. I'm doing okay now. I'm working part-time at a Veterans Resource Center, helping other guys who are going through what I went through. And you know what? When I tell them about Judge Caprio, about what he did for me, it gives them hope. As for Madison Foster, she was prosecuted by the Rhode Island Attorney General's office and pleaded guilty to multiple counts of fraud. She received a 3-year prison sentence and was ordered to pay full restitution to all victims across 3 states. Judge Caprio continues to serve justice with compassion every single day in Providence. His courtroom remains a place where dignity matters, where truth prevails, and where the vulnerable find protection. Robert Chen's story reminds us that one person with courage, one person with integrity, can change everything. If this story moved you, please subscribe to our channel. We share true stories of justice, compassion, and the human spirit. And let us know in the comments, where are you watching from? Have you ever met someone like Judge Caprio who restored your faith in the system? Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next case.